Hello, Space Cadets. Welcome back. It's episode number 17 of RollPlay Nebula Jazz. We're here, and it's going to happen, and I'm so excited. Hi, everybody. I missed you.
I missed you too.
Yeah. How was your trip, Adam?
Welcome
Tell
back
us everything.
to the Western world.
I mean, it was fine and everything, but, you weren't there, so I was kind of lonely and sad. No, it was great. I had a good time. It was really fun.
You got them post-holiday blues?
I am just so happy to be home because I was in Japan for 2 weeks, and then I was in Indianapolis for like a week, and then that was it. And then I was like, okay, cool. My brain is dead. I have the worst jet lag of all time. I'm going to lie down for 3 days. But I'm glad to be home. It was fun. I really like Japan, and I got to see some cool stuff. And I got to live stream myself walking around in a graveyard, and that was creepy.
I watched a couple of your little live streams when you went to museums and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah. That was so good. I was like, because I think everybody who is a broadcaster who's ever gone on any kind of vacation at all is like, cool, everyone's going to abandon me while I'm gone, and I'm going to come home, and my channel is just going to be dust and tumbleweeds. So being able to stream a little bit was super fun. And yeah, we did a little choose your own adventure where I went into a graveyard, and I was like, all right, every time I get to a crossroads, you can pick which direction I go. And I did not get eaten by ghosts.
Perfect.
So it was great.
They kept you alive.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
Yep. So yeah, it was super fun. But I want to go back. I was saying before we started, Tokyo is the coolest, weirdest place of all time. And I got to be there for like a day this time. And when we were leaving, I was just like at the back of the train, wistfully like looking out as the sad Incredible Hulk walking away music played as the train whisked me away. Yeah, exactly. Only with like Japanese instruments. It was on a shamisen.
I was going to say a shamisen.
Yeah. Every time that I've been to Japan, there's been like kind of one thing that's been going on that everybody is like super excited about. Like the first time I went there, it was kind of like right when Attack on Titan was a thing. So everything was just like Attack on Titan everywhere, just giant naked monster guys everywhere. This time it was Dragon Quest, because I guess there was a new Dragon Quest that came out right before I got there, and holy shit, if I have to hear the Dragon Quest music one more time, I'm gonna murder somebody. Like on the train, randomly walking on the street, just like giant slimes everywhere. But that's the thing that I like about Japan, is that if you like video games or comics or whatever, it's way more closely integrated into like everyday. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
It's way more closely integrated into sort of day-to-day like
Don't you
stuff.
like me, Adam?
Listen, Slimy, you're no metal slime, but you'll do.
Whoa! Wow!
Listen,
What do you mean?
Wow!
we already have one slime on this show, Sam. We don't need another one. We're good. The slime quota has been met. Yep. But I hear y'all were doing some stuff while I was away. I hear there was some one shots. There's like a one shot or two.
Yeah.
All
How
three.
how was that? How did your thing go? Was it like
Mine?
Crandor levels of ridiculous, or did you keep it under control? Tell me. Tell me
mean,
how
It was amazing.
Daikea 2 was Krender levels of ridiculous.
Don't get you something.
I thought Wicked Thimble went really well. People said that they saw a huge difference in me as a DM, that I seemed much more confident. I took your challenge and I went into it as a completely blank slate, and like it was Sam and Jesse and Holly and Aurelian, and they sort of like helped me plan out like what we were gonna do, and it was fun. Although if you remember the last time that we had like a Patreon video chat, I was like, the thing that I'm really concerned about is how to end it. I think ending was the hardest part for sure.
Yeah.
But overall, it was super fun to just be like, I don't know, we'll just see like what happens and make stuff up on the spot, and like it was really, really fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I got to catch a little bit of it, and yeah, I'm excited. Maybe we can do like we'll do another like kind of rundown video where we can talk about it.
Post-mortem.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had a
post-mortem.
Cockney off.
We did. We had a Cockney off.
I heard about that. I saw some fan art too. It was good. An accent.
Wait, there's fan art?
I believe
fan art, chat.
Speaking of which, and I mean this is gonna put JP on the spot, but can we talk about that Nebula Jazz fan art? Holy shit.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
Holy.
The Instagram one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer. So good. So good. I love that stuff. It made me instantly want an anime of this show.
Right? It was so good.
Yeah. So cute. Very like Astro Boy. Very Tezuka. Yeah. Super cool. So your show went well. There was some other one shots, right? There was a bunch of stuff going on.
Daikia 2 happened, and that was
who was in Daikia 2? Who was responsible for that chaos? Because
we were in it.
Good.
Jesse,
Nice.
raise your fucking hand. Don't
your
pretend you
fucking
weren't part of this.
good work for avoiding the shit show, Pocket. I love so I saw JP posted on Twitter a reaction gif to people telling us we're using the rules wrong in Daikia, and I feel like Daikia is our vent. It's our ability to just be like, you know what, we are playing a role-playing game, but no one cares today. Today is the day no one cares.
He didn't even like use the stats we rolled from the first game. Like he took stat rolls, he just removed them. He was like, you don't have stats anymore. This is like a fucking paint by numbers adventure. Let's go.
Also, yeah, the way that it's set up is like you're supposed to roll. I think it's like you're supposed to roll a D100, and then you're supposed to roll a D100 plus 100, right? Because like the mutations are broken up into types of mutations.
Sure, yeah.
Friendor just has us roll a D1000 every single time.
Perfect.
So yeah, so like
I rolled 6 D1000s, and every one of my abilities was under 100. So I just had like 6 physical mutations, which ended up being 3 lost limbs, a long neck, a long face, 7 ears. It was just like I literally had 1 leg and had to get carried around for the whole thing.
And I once again was extremely overpowered and had lots of like magic shit going on. And it's just like so like our characters wind up so imbalanced.
Frendor established that if you eat anyone in this world, you get a mutation.
Oh,
so
good.
Jesse ate about 27 like NPCs and ended up with about 30 mutations and could travel.
It helped us win.
He could fly at the speed of sound by the end of it. And had a diamond indestructible body. I'm not even
Listen,
kidding.
Jesse, you know that in a role-playing game you're supposed to play someone who is not you, right? Like
He had an indestructible diamond body. He could teleport out of danger whenever he wanted and could fly at the speed
Little
of sound.
known-
And
little known
he still lost the race.
little known fact, Jesse Cox made out of diamond and can fly at the speed of sound.
Rock hard.
It's amazing these shows, like when Krendor does the Daikia stuff, and to a lesser extent like some of the older kind of like goofier one shots, the idea that like, so as someone who GMs Dungeons and Dragons, I'm beholden to a certain standard of rules understanding and maintenance, right? Like if I screw up the rules a bunch or just disregard them, I'm going to hear about it. So it's nice to see someone, if not me, have the opportunity to just be like, you know what? Never mind. It's the rules. It's fine. They're fine. We don't need those.
In my one shot, I ran into, and this happened in my first game too. I ran into plenty of moments where I was like, I'm not quite sure how that's supposed to be done, or I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to roll that. So just do this. And the first time around, I would pause for a really long time and try to figure out exactly how to do it. And this time I was just like, I don't know, just do this, I guess. And that way we'll like keep everything moving. And yeah, people were very forgiving with me. They were just like, I mean, you didn't do it right, but you like confidently decided something else would work. So, it was easy to just kind of roll with it.
Well, that sounds good. That's yeah, and that's fine, especially for a one shot. I think the thing about one shots and why they're so great for giving people an opportunity to like GM for the first time is that they're a little more forgiving in that the results of any given decision have a limited time frame, right? Like if you screw something up and things go wrong, don't worry about it. You're only gonna have to deal with it for another 2 hours or whatever. Right. So cool. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. What else has been going on? I missed North America. Tell me about. Do we have a new president yet? There's
a hurricane in Texas.
Yeah, I heard that. Are you okay? Are you safe where you are, Pocket?
Yeah,
Are you going to be okay?
Oh, I'm great. I'm in Austin. We're just gonna get rain, which we need anyway. So maybe too much rain, but it's fine. It's a tropical storm now.
I like how like the other half of Texas is their lives are in danger. You're like, I mean, they're gonna give us much needed rain. So.
Yeah. I mean, did you see some of the like memes of like? I retweeted one and it says how Texans do hurricanes or something. And it's a guy out with an American flag and he's just in shorts and he's like headbanging to metal. Like
Yes. America will protect you from the weather. Just pray to its mighty power.
It's
And
so
the stars and stripes will protect you.
But I wasn't worried because the whole time they're like Texas is gonna maybe get some heavy wind and then rain. Or Austin. So we're just far enough in because Texas is fucking huge. We're just far enough in that it didn't really affect us.
So part way through the episode, when your walls rip off and you get torn away to Oz, we should just
probably a tornado.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the people that I was worried about who said like I might be off the grid. I don't know. It depends on how bad it is. I've already been in contact with today, so I guess it seems like everybody that I was worried about is fine. But obviously, I hope that everyone's safe.
I find it super weird that they give them human names.
Yeah.
The hurricanes?
Yeah.
Or
Henry,
tornadoes?
that was this one, right?
Yeah. It's just weird to me.
There's a convention to it too. Like they name them according to the type of storm they are, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a reason to the madness. It's just super weird for me to name like a killing act of nature after a person.
Mm-hmm.
Just weird.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I wonder.
Very American thing to do.
I mean, I guess we do that so that we can determine like one from another, as opposed to being like the hurricane of this month and this date. But also, yeah, it's just good. Just think of this dude, just running around kicking over your shit and throwing water everywhere.
It's like one step under fan art.
Right. Totally.
Just
Got
like
some
giving it a personality.
hurricane OTPs now. Yeah. Totally. Well, good. I'm glad you're not drowning yet, at least.
And I'm in the third story, so I'm good.
Right. So you've got a bunch of suckers
Damn.
underneath you.
Screw those idiots below you.
Yeah, I'm great.
Wait, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, if it floods, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I see.
But if it's a tidal wave, it's a terrible thing.
But if it's an actual,
If we have a tidal wave in Austin, it's the end of the world.
if it becomes an actual tornado, then you're bad. It's bad.
Not a lot of tsunami in middle America. Yeah. I think you'll be safe.
Yeah.
But when they need to remake Waterworld, I'm sure you'll be first in line. The soggy apocalypse that is Texas.
There you go.
Somebody made a good point, like whether or not the popularity of a hurricane's name as a baby name drops significantly after the hurricane exists.
Yeah, probably not a lot of like
Yeah.
Katrinas
Shit,
in
what if
the
it's like
New
a
Orleans
government
area.
ploy to like get that name out of rotation for like babies?
Everybody get out your tinfoil hats. Sam's got a theory.
Yeah.
What if they're like,
keep going
fuck,
with that.
they
So
have like
let's
a list of registered citizens, and they're like, fuck, there's just too many fucking Laurens. So their next hurricane is Hurricane Lauren, and then people are like, fuck, I'm not naming a daughter Lauren.
So why would the government need to control the names of babies born in America?
Because
Sam?
there's a giant filing cabinet, and there's only a certain amount of room for L. And if people keep naming their fucking baby Lauren, then it fills up
It's all
too
coming
much.
together. It's all coming
And
together.
so they have to change it to someone else. This is Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah. They're all powerful world organization, but there's only so much shelf space.
There's only one filing cabinet.
Right?
Yeah,
You can't control that.
you get the filing cabinets you get, and they settled on small ones a long time
And,
ago.
like, there's somewhere in the world there's a paper copy of everything, dude, and they can't store it anymore.
Yeah, they're done. They're like,
They're done.
So
They
we
can't
should put
rely
this
on AI
computer.
because it will turn
It's
on us
like, no.
eventually.
Yeah, the old men who still run the Illuminati are like, no, everything must be paper filing. And there's that one young guy who's like, but if we just put it all in computer, I can
That's
just
like-
scan it over the weekend.
Now I'm just
no.
now I'm just
There's
imagining
like
a
a
big old.
city under the earth, and it's just made of paper. Everything, even the buildings.
The city, there's an underground city made of paper?
Yeah,
I'm
the
like, that
Illuminati
is a
HQ.
fatal flaw. The Illuminati's plan is fatally flawed.
Because I was gonna say, you know what else we
one
have?
smoker and the whole thing's dead.
Yeah, you know what else we have deep
There's
under the
strictly
earth?
no smoking.
Magma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm just imagining like
Old
a
people.
fax machine with a Freemason symbol etched into its side.
Just constantly printing out names.
Yeah. The names of everyone who's born and being filed away in the filing cabinets, and the L is getting filled. This is like some Brazil level shit.
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie? I love that movie. You want to see some weird bureaucracy in action? Brazil is your jam. Go check that movie out.
Sorry for making this weird.
Good conspiracy theory, Sam.
Thanks.
I like
Very
it.
good.
B plus.
All conspiracy.
Yeah. Kind of on the tame side, but I'll take it.
It's me warming up for Nebula Jazz, you know.
Right.
Level of weird.
Hotbed of conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Don't you know that Nebula Jazz is like a secret political agenda show that everything's a metaphor for something else?
Oh,
It may seem
everything.
silly.
This
But-
is the fully coolly of Twitch shows.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
you-
is the Animal Farm of Twitch shows. This is all. Oh yeah, this is rough.
Yeah.
I think that's a marsupial.
Yeah, that's right.
That's Liza Minnelli.
What? What?
What?
Oh, I
What?
like. That's good.
Wait.
What?
Just
Think-
wait. It will
think
be
about it.
revealed.
Huh? Yeah.
What?
Now
Fine.
the gears are turning. You're trying to figure it out.
Nope.
You and
nope.
Twitch chat.
There's
Adam
a
knows.
subreddit out there somewhere of 15 dudes who are just like, finally they've confirmed it.
I think 15 is too many. There's like one guy. And he just
You know, I
talks
feel
his
like,
stuff.
and Jesse, I think that you can probably understand this feeling. I feel like that's one of my favorite things about fandom. And every time it ever happened on any role play show that I've ever been a part of, I was so tickled by it when people would sit down and be like, Adam used this specific word in this specific sentence, and I think that what that means is, and that like that deep kind of like lost Mr. Robot like level, like what the hell's going on, like deep conspiracy stuff. I love that shit. I just eat that up. I can't get over it. It's so
And
good.
And real talk, when it pays off and you're right, that's why people keep doing it. I'm going to put up a spoiler finger. Mute if you don't want to hear spoilers for Westworld. But like
oh, yeah.
episode 3 of that show, when I was online and some guy posted the like what he thought the white hat and black hat like young men were and who they were and how it turned out to be totally correct in the end, I was like, that guy just won the internet. That guy just got internet points from me for a theory that was like kind of out there, a little bonkers, but at the end you're like, that's totally what it is. When it pays off, it pays off. And I think that like the fun is, I remember when Lost was on way back when, I listened to a podcast that was like filmed in Hawaii on the island. They would be on set like smuggling pictures out, and they would try to guess what the hell the show Lost was about. For 5 seasons they had this podcast, and all 5 seasons they were wrong. If you go back and listen to the old episodes on like season 2, they're so incredibly wrong that it's like, I don't care. It was still fun when you're in the moment. When you're in the moment of trying to figure it out, it was a blast. So yeah, when you're right, you're right. But most of the time you're totally wrong. And now we're at that point where Game of Thrones is starting to do some of that. And they're just excited because one of their theories was right and confirmed. And now they're like, we have a better one. And it's for the end of the show.
I think maybe the big difference between something like what we're doing and a TV show, one of the many big differences, is that if someone comes up with a really kooky conspiracy theory and I like it, I'm like, yeah, whatever I had planned, fuck that shit. This is better. Good call. I mean, no, that couldn't possibly be. He's not that guy's cousin. Yep, cool. No, never mind. Moving on. I love it. I love that stuff so much. And I think you're right.
Going on is when Virgil like spoke right before he died, and people are still trying to figure out who the fuck
And
he
people
was.
are still like,
I love it. I love it.
was he
Oh
Rex's
yeah,
son?
right.
Did Rex murder his son?
We'll never know.
Oh my God, he was his clone. He was
Yeah.
a Rex clone.
Time traveling clone from an alternate universe.
Yeah. And he had to kill him in order to reestablish the timelines, guys. Please.
Yeah, obviously. Come on. He was a clone made out of Quinn's DNA, but made to look like Rex, so he could travel.
Ooh.
Because lizard DNA, we all know, you don't time travel with lizard DNA. It's bad. It doesn't do good
Right,
things for the
sure.
time.
It turns you into a shark man.
Yeah,
you time
right.
travel with
Oh my
lizard
God,
DNA.
the shark men are all super evolved versions of the lizard men who traveled backwards in time from the distant future. It's
Obviously.
great. See?
Obvious.
Can you guys stop ruining all my?
This was his entire plan for today. That was his big story reveal. He was like, and then I'm actually a lizard man from the
I have a
future.
piece of paper here, and I'm just like you see me just crossing out sentences where it's like backstory reveal, and it's just like, aw.
Oh man. Oh jeez.
Not again.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like trying to have any kind of coherent understanding of a potential future. So people ask me a lot, and I got asked this a lot at Gen Con. People ask me about, because they're curious, going back to what we were talking about first-time GMs and kind of like watching shows and using them as an opportunity to learn how to play games. A lot of first-time GMs ask me like, oh, how do you prep for your various shows, right? How do you prep for Court of Swords? I'm like, oh, I'll do some streams. I'll show you like the maps that I do and whatever, and that's fun content to do. But when people ask me like, how do you plan for Nebula Jazz? I'm like, how could I possibly? Like, it's not at all even humanly possible. All I can manage to do is hope that I can remember the things that happened in the last episode based on my notes, which look like the scrawlings of a madman inside a cell. Let me treat you to some exciting notes from the last episode of Nebula
please,
Jazz.
yes.
Francis loves the theater. Don't forget that one, Adam. Very important. Francis loves it. Mr. Snickers. Good to remember him. He'll show up again for sure. Let's see here. Mantis Gangster and Godzilla Dog. Yep. Tiki with 2 underlines. That's fine. No, don't worry about it.
All right, Mr.
Very
Snickers
helpful to
was
me.
the weird guy, the shadow.
He was
that,
the
like,
weasel, the
helping me
weasel
out.
chemist.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Mantis
right.
and the Godzilla Dog were the 2 bouncers that were beating the shit out of Rockman in the freezer, and
Right, with
ended
the
up capturing me.
jackhammer.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah, with the
but
jackhammer. They were like
What
chipping
is
bits off
Tiki?
him.
I think the Tiki thing was that there was a faction of jackers who are really into
Tiki
like
jackers.
Yeah, the
Tiki
Tiki
jackers.
Oh,
Yeah, and they put like a aloha wreath around you when you get there and stuff.
Someone in chat, Rasmussen pointed out that yes, GMing this show is pretty much exactly like being the main character from Memento. I need to take. I have photographs of the cast, and I have tattoos that are like Dodger, don't trust, with a line crossed out. So like, do I not? I don't. And then yeah.
do I trust you? Do I not
I
trust
don't
you?
know. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry guys, I gotta go do my insulin shot. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. That was a good movie.
Right?
I might rewatch that.
Man, I watched that movie when I was young enough that I was like, I don't fucking understand anything that's happening in this. And then I watched it again as an adult and I was like, holy shit.
I feel like I went back and I watched it alongside like Fight Club, and I was like, man, you would have to be a 15-year-old boy to think these movies are cool. Like, okay, Fight Club, you did all right, but like, yep. There was a brief period where a bunch of movies like that were made, and I was like, all right, yep, cool.
I somehow made it to like 25 years old before I watched Fight Club and did not know anything about it aside from the fact that there's a Fight Club and that the logo is made out of soap. That's like all that I knew. So when I watched it, I was actually like, I can see why people were super into this. Like, there's a lot of weird shit happening in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember liking it a lot, again, as like a 15-year-old boy, and then watching it as an adult and being like, oh, this movie is way gayer than I remember. Like, it's very gay. Fight Club is. Go watch it again. Just
Everybody you know what? Don't bother watching Nebula Jazz.
We're just gonna stream it live right now and have a react.
Yeah, as I say, it'll be a live react. You have to watch along with us. We'll count to 3. Start.
This is the Fight Club themed episode of Nebula Jazz. We do this a lot.
Yeah. We will be
Every episode
subliminally
of Fight Club
flashing
theme.
dicks on the screen.
It's just
That's-
Rex and the Prince.
Yeah. Just a lot of dick flashes. Boop, there was one, you missed it.
Right. So at the beginning of the episode, we see Rex and the Prince standing next to one another, and the scary lady from Harry Potter is there, and there's some buildings. And,
Helena breathing out so much smoke, she might as well just be like a vape princess.
Jared Leto also there. It's fine. It's cool. Yeah.
Is she always the same character? Question. Is she always? Does she even act, or does she just play
Or is that who she
herself?
really is?
I mean, there are certain actors that they're like method, right? They just are them.
No, that's not method acting though.
That's not what method means, but yeah.
She's
like-
literally just herself. In every movie, she plays the same character, just different
but it's
CGI
like
versions of it.
Self method.
Well, no. It's
It's called not acting, Sam.
They just embody themselves to an exaggerated level, like Jason Statham.
no, it's called
He's
being
always
typecast.
Jason Statham.
So when someone's typecast, they're cast into the same role over and over again because
Samuel L. Jackson.
they are. So.
There
Always
are
Samuel Jackson.
there are quite a few actors like that. Bruce Willis is like that. Samuel L. Jackson. Lots of good. Yeah, in chat, lots of people. Johnny Depp is a bit like that. Yeah, I feel like she's that though. But I think the thing is she gets cast in roles that are written for her a lot of the time. So people write these roles to be like, I'm going to use her in this movie because I don't want a character. I just want this actor.
I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I don't want it.
It's always hard to tell. I was actually talking about this on stream the other day, but like because I was in acting classes for so much of my life, I know what it feels like to read a character and then fall into a trap that I devised for myself, right? Like to have these safety mechanisms in my acting and be like, I know how to play this character. And yeah, I think that would work for this role, right? Whether or not it's subconscious. I think that sometimes people fall into that trap too, where like maybe they have an opportunity to play something else, but they fall into their own safeties.
People do this in role-playing games too. Like go back. Anyone who's been a fan of role-play for a long time, if you watch, like recurring character types will come up based on the people that are playing them. Like I know that there's definitely like character types that I end up putting in the various campaigns because like you said, I'm like, okay, cool. I know how to play this kind of character. So I'm going to put them in. Or like people will play similar types of characters as PCs. They're just like, I'm going to examine a slightly different aspect of the same kind of character.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the thing. It's like everybody is pointing these characters out. They're like quite similar to one another. And I think that's just because that's how it goes. That's how people's brains work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's not bad. I think it's just that we get away with it more easily because we're not as famous as Helena Bonham Carter.
She was in a lot of Shakespeare movies though. Like really, really early in her career, like really early. Yeah, she's in a lot of Shakespeare movies, and she doesn't at all play who she plays now. Like she actually was very, she played like the good girl and stuff like that.
Interesting. I would love to see
Tim
that.
Burton. Tim Burton got a hold of her and Johnny Depp and was like, now you're mine.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Tim Burton, you ruiner. Way to go.
Like, everyone, join me. Let's make weird shit. Okay, Tim.
I like your Tim Burton voice. That's really good. It's like vaguely Transylvanian.
Yeah. Don't worry. Everyone, it's me, Tim Burton.
From Tim
place
Burton
it.
from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Nightmare Before Christmas. Yep. Tim Burton. Everyone knows Tim Burton's voice.
See, now what's going to happen is I'm going to meet Tim Burton in real life, and I'm going to be all disappointed, and he's going to be like, what's wrong? And I'll be like, you're not how I imagined you.
You're not what I...
Yeah, I expected...
No, you're gonna walk away disappointed, and he's going to come up behind you and be like, I have to talk like a normie for the others, but you know my secret. And he'll walk away.
No, he's not going to walk away. He's going to turn into a cloud of bats and fly off.
And then Adam will feel a shiver down his spine and be like, I've never felt so attracted to someone.
Yeah, here's to you, cloud of bats, Tim Burton. This episode dedicated to Tim Burton's cloud of bats. Oh, well, with that said, should we Nebula Jazz? Should we do this thing?
So ready for jazz?
Let's fucking do it.
This is episode 17 of your very favorite Nebula Jazz.
Yeah, Pokket.
Has anyone seen Death Note movie?
Not yet. No, I'm saving myself.
No, hang on. I saw
with my
a
friend Aaron.
long string of tweets from Mr. Cox.
Hey.
So I know someone has.
Hi. This is all you need to know about this movie. I'm going to reenact a scene for you. They're in a computer lab. And she's like, hey, the girlfriend is like, hey, Light, did you see that there's a website now devoted to followers of Kira who want him to kill people? And he's like, what? How is that? That's crazy. I can't believe there's a website. Are those people really bad? And she's like, yeah, of course they're bad. Why would they be on the site? And he's like, oh, well, maybe it's just like someone who fucked someone's girlfriend. And then she's like, would you kill someone who fucked me? And he's like, Yeah. And then they almost bang in the computer lab, and that's when I stopped watching. That's a real scene in that movie, and I've never been so. Guys. Early in this movie, the main character's put in detention for 2 weeks. On the first day of detention, the demon guy shows up, destroys the classroom, and then he leaves the room, and it's never brought up again. The motherfucker destroyed a school classroom. It is never addressed again in the movie.
You know,
That kid shows up in school the next day, walking in the halls. I was like, the fuck is happening in this movie?
when they first announced that Light Turner would be played by Scarlett Johansson, I was really excited. But maybe I won't watch it now. I don't know.
Also, you know what? I think there's a meme on the internet now, but like, go watch when the big demon man, I don't know his name, I don't care to know his name at this point, shows up.
Willem
When
Dafoe.
he shows up for the first time, the actor playing the Light loses his mind, and it's not like him freaking out, screaming. It's him like, yeah, like running around. It is. I can't. I sat. That's minute 3, I think, of this movie, and I sat there like, maybe that's from the anime, and maybe that's like an homage to the anime. Maybe the character like really freaks out, and that's why it's supposed to be like comical. But this is garbage, and I sat through it for 45 minutes, guys. 45 minutes.
Hey, Pokket.
There's another 45 to
There are
go.
certain things you shouldn't bring up in Mr. Cox's presence. And
Jesse, and then what happened?
Honestly, like Jesse was like my last bastion for this movie, because I know so many people who love Death Note, and like I really like Death Note. I know so many people who love Death Note that watch the movie and were like, it's bad. It's like really bad. And I thought to myself, well, maybe it's bad because you're going into it hoping that it's going to be like the anime or like the manga. And obviously it's not, right? Maybe you have to just walk into it with the knowledge of, oh, it's going to have the framework of Death Note, but it's not going to be Death Note, and I'll just like accept it for what it is. So Jesse, knowing literally nothing about Death Note, was like, I'm going to watch that movie. And I was like, I can't wait to hear what Jesse thinks. Cut to 40 minutes later when he bursts into my room and he's like, what the fuck is this movie? He was so upset. It was hilarious.
No one has normal motivations. Like, no one thinks like a normal person, which is why the entire time I said that, like, maybe this is what the anime is like. Maybe like this is really an homage. Everyone's like, no, this is the exact polar opposite. I was like,
I saw like a picture that was like, and this is basically just summing up. We don't need any more words, but the picture said Death Note anime, and it was a game of chess. And then it said Death Note Netflix movie, and it was Guess Who, the child's game. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Somewhere out there in the audience, Sam, there's someone who is getting up from their computer, looking at their copy of Guess Who with a tear in their eye and putting it away on a shelf, never to play
Look
it
to the
again.
right, and it says like Guess Who Pee-wee champion. It's like a small dusty trophy. They're just like a tear rolls down their face.
Just looking wistfully over their shoulder at the
Fuck.
computer screen. Sam
Let's
mocking their life.
Jazz.
Yes.
You know what I've always wanted to do is when people take old Guess Who and then they pop out all of the pictures and replace the pictures with like people that they know.
Oh my God.
To do that, and I've never taken the time.
Coming soon to the RollPlay store. It's RollPlay, Guess Who? Starring your favorite cast members.
Holy shit, people would play that. Let's be real.
Are you wearing a hat? Awesome.
It's stripping.
Yeah, we need more. We need more of that, like, just really pointless, awful merchandise. Let's do it. I'm gonna make it happen. Dear JP. All right. Okay. Nebula Jazz. So yeah, this is episode 17 of Nebula Jazz, your favorite show on the internet. And as far as I remember it, and maybe as usual, shit's in rough shape. Some of you are frozen, some of you are sleeping, some of you are just arriving. Aurora, where did you end up after the foofara at the bar? I remember you leaving. Did you like flee, or is our opening scene like you and Quinn running into each other? Because you were on your way. The last I remember, you were fighting with a tiny bird inside the mouth of an enormous hippo.
what? Oh, that's
I don't remember anything. I think I'm running into Quinn. That's what I want to say. Yeah, that sounds good.
What?
You need to quit.
Wait, what? No, I don't think that's right at all.
Well, so
I
Quinn,
remember
you've been smelling out your friend Rex, right? You've been just hunting down his scent,
Yes.
accompanied by your new and mysterious friend, the stranger. And you had tracked the scent to a bar called Missy's, and it looked like it had been the scene of some chaos, right? There's like broken glass and the ion scent of laser in the air. And I mean that's the thing. Like Aurora, you had just come up out of the basement and gotten in a fight with Hippo Man, and then I assume like you were on your way out, right? You'd use your magic to flee.
Yeah.
So
I thought that Hippo Man was the guy at the bar who wasn't doing anything while she fought the other guy.
Oh yeah, I mean when I say fight, they weren't like fist fighting.
Yeah,
it was just they had a little argument.
I was having an exchange with not even Hippo Man, with the
The
bird.
bird inside the hippo's mouth was like shit talking to you. Okay, we're back.
That's right.
Yeah, and I was arguing with him. That's what I was
That's
doing.
right,
And then I
that's
got
right, that's
annoyed
right.
and just left.
Yeah, and you went to leave. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's before that can be our first player scene. But before that, I want to frame it up for you. So the opening sequence, which is for some reason like super anime this week, the opening sequence of the show ends. The Nebula jazz fades, the producer credit fades out, and we fade in on first a dark screen and the sounds of sultry jazz music playing. There's some sexy saxophone, maybe some twinkling piano music playing, and we fade in on a lavishly appointed cabin on a spaceship somewhere. We can see a big curved window and the vast beauty of space. Some beautiful gas giant in the distance, and the room is appointed in the finest of lounge accoutrement. Right, big purple velvet couch. There's a Steinway piano off in the background, and it's probably like diamond studded. And sitting as we pan across, I guess, relaxing on a heart-shaped bed, we see a very handsome, well-oiled individual in a pair of very tight tiger print briefs. And he's having a conversation. We can just see his back, his beautiful muscled back, and he's having a conversation with someone we can't see. He's just on the phone. When he speaks, we recognize the voice as being the voice of Jack himself. And he's saying, he's like, oh yeah, I dig it. That's real interesting. Oh, magic. Wow. That's gonna cost extra. And how much? Yeah, that's about right. And as we're saying that, we can hear the clinking as he reaches over and picks up a glass of whiskey with a couple of ice cubes in it, and he takes a long sip. And we can hear that kind of muted, like someone else on the other end of a phone sound, like he's talking to someone. And he says, "Okay, Pops, we'll get on it. Old Jack's already got some fish in the pan." And there's another sound of conversation on the other side, and he says, "Don't worry, your little chicken will be back in the nest before you can say Viva Las Vegas, baby." And the camera pans around just as he finishes the conversation. So the holo display he was looking at is just, we get faint blue kind of static as it disappears, and he takes a long sip of his whiskey, and he sets it down, and he looks out into space, and we crossfade, and the gas giant is slowly replaced by the glowing pink of a neon sign that says Missy's. One of the S's is kind of like blinking and stuttering in and out, and the sultry piano jazz is replaced with muted trumpet. And we see standing, as he always somehow manages to, under a spotlight of light by the Missy sign, smoking a cigarette in his gray trench coat. We see the form of the stranger, and as we pan across, kind of following the smoke from his cigarette, we track to Quinn. And Quinn, do you remember how your character is dressed, Jesse? Do you remember your outfit?
And like a pink, like pimp suit, basically. Like So I'm a big lizard man dressed in a pink pimp suit, and I would say zoot suit, really.
Yeah. Big old pants. Got that like watch chain, the jacket, big feather in your cap.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're a giant, horrifying lizard.
I'm a giant lizard man. Yeah.
This
imagine Godzilla, but in a pink zoot suit.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you can envision that fairly easily. Just Google Godzilla versus the Fuzz, circa 1954, I think it came out. And so Quinn, you're standing in the light of this bar, Missy's, and there's no question that this is where Rex and ostensibly the others are. You can, as I mentioned before, you can smell the kind of ionized air of laser weapons. But the place seems quiet. You're not running into a fight in progress. What do you want to do?
Well, I think last time I had sniffed out Rex's scent. Am I still on the trail of that scent, or is it covered up by laser fire?
I think this is where it leads to. Okay. And then from here, you know that this is the place the trail ends.
So Quinn opens the I imagine slightly ajar door to the establishment and kind of
it's the distant future. So as you approach, the door automatically opens for you.
I would say
the technology that we have in Nebula Jazz, distant and powerful though our technology is.
As the auto magic door opens, Quinn looks around and notices the place is an utter mess.
Yeah, and I think there's a stillness to it, right? It's like walking into Cheers if Cheers had just been the site of a gunfight, in that there's broken glass on the floor. You can smell the alcohol that was spilled from the broken bottles, but it's not like on fire, right? Like, and as you look up, you see a janitorial looking humanoid sweeping broken glass into a little robot dustpan that's following him around. And he looks up, and through his bristly mustache, he says, "Sorry, sir, we're closed."
Quinn tries to make his way past some of the rubble that's on the ground, and he's trying to tiptoe as best a lizard man can do, but is just like hitting things with his tail and sort of bumbling his way through this. But he's trying very hard not to make any more of a mess. And he approaches the janitor, and is like, "So, what happened here?"
And he says, "Well, you know how it is on old Dead Man's Reef. Can get a little dangerous. But hey, if we didn't like a scuffle or two, we wouldn't be here." And he gives you a look up and down, and he says, "Why, you got the look of a man who's after something."
Quinn pauses and sort of looks around the room, and he's like, "Yeah, a good time. Doesn't seem like we're gonna have it here."
And he shakes his head, and he says, "We? Well, who's we, stranger?" And he looks up, and like it's just you and him in the room. I guess you look at the bar, and there's like the massive bulk of some kind of like vaguely pinkish creature wearing a slightly too small, very worn like a business suit, passed out on the bar. And there appears to be a tiny bird also passed out in like a saucer of booze next to him. But other than them, it's just the two of you. The stranger has evaporated as he sometimes does.
Orf. Quinn sort of looks around and realizes he's by himself and lets out just a, "All right, so can I get a drink at least?"
And he like looks at his watch. He says, heck, why not?" And he walks over. He hands you the broom, and he walks over to the door, and he shuts it, and he clicks the lock shut, and he flips over the hologram of an open close sign, And he says, "Well, after the day this place has had, I don't suppose anybody will mind." He walks over to the bar and he looks back at it. And there's shattered bottles and burn marks and stuff. And he says, "Well, what can I get you?"
Quinn goes up to the bar and sits down next to the slumped over pair, and and looks at sort of whatever's left of all the different bottles and jars, and is like, "What do you have left?"
And he says, I guess he turns and like reaches up and he kind of goes through the bottles and he pulls down a dusty kind of gray bottle and blows it off. And on the cover, you see two slimes. One of them's wearing a straw hat. And the other one is holding a jug and like blowing over the top of it and just has 3 X's on the bottom.
Moon slime? That's my favorite.
Yeah, and he looks at it and he's like, well, it's not going to taste very good, but it'll put hair on your... He like looks you up and down, wherever you people grow hair. And he grabs 2 glasses and he pours bloop, bloop, like 2 very viscous shots of this moon slime and he sets it down.
Quinn like downs the shot immediately and he's like, "We don't grow hair," and puts it down on the like flips it over on the bar. He's like, "So, you come across any sharkanoids lately?"
He gives you a suspicious look. Says, "Fancy dressed stranger comes wandering into my bar, asks me about sharkanoids. Sharkanoids ain't nothing but trouble, stranger." Okay.
You're telling me? That's why I'm asking. Seen any?
He looks around and he says, maybe I have." Kind of just like eyeballs you.
He's like, "What about any little robotic girls?"
He shakes his head and he says, "Might be I know the folk you're looking for." And he looks back up behind him, and on the bar, I think up on the bar, he like taps a picture, and it's a picture from the party from so very long ago, and it's a picture of I think Aurora and Rex, and in the background you can see Eugene talking to a little pink ball of fluff. You are nowhere to be seen in this photo.
Because I was passed out outside.
That's right. You were outside. Exactly. And at the bottom, handwritten on a note that's been taped to the picture, it says, "Do not serve these people." And he taps it and he says, "You looking for them?"
And Quinn looks up and smiles and then looks around the bar and he's like, "Yeah, I've got a score to settle. Seems like they've been through here, huh?"
Yeah. He says, "Looks like. Only I think you're a little too late, stranger. Score's already being settled." And I think that when he says that, we get the like pan down and the fade to the subterranean regions of the bar. And underneath the bar, we see a room lit harshly from above. We see chains kind of hanging down, plastic sheeting. It's all very serial killery. But as we pan into the room, we see a big sort of cube-shaped block of ice, slightly greenish ice. And I think floating in that or frozen in that, we see some features, some Eugene-like features. And pacing back and forth in front of the block of ice is, I guess she's really more scampering. We hear the like flapping of her little paws on the floor. Yeah. So she's pacing back and forth, and she stops and like pops up like kind of like a meerkat, and like looks at the cube, and she's like, "What to do with you? What to do with you? You're finally at my mercy, Eugene. You have no idea how long I've waited for this." And she like runs a finger down your icy surface. Now I think we can
Ew.
kind of hear you,
Just-
Eugene. Like you can kind of talk through the ice.
Ah.
And she says, I bet you thought it would be the last you'd see of me, didn't you? She's like kind of looks crazy. She's like one like kind of like bulbous popping yellow eye, and the other eye's all squinting and twitching. And she says, but no. All you did was free me from that fool Glorn. Now I'm in charge. Now I'm the boss. Isn't that right, boys? And she looks over her shoulder and we see the Mantis and the Godzilla dog gangsters. And they both like, nah, they're like, that's right, boss. Yep. And the Mantis like rubs his little claws together. And she says, now I've got you and your friend. And she looks over her shoulder and we see Rex bound at the wrist. Your wrists are bound behind your back, and you're hanging upside down on one of these meat hooks by your feet. And you have a Hannibal Lecter style like mask, like muzzle on. And I think because it's still cold in here, you're kind of groggy. Do you say anything when we see you, Rex? You're kind of swinging slightly.
No, I think he's just like totally out of it.
Yeah,
like in and out of consciousness level of yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she says, and it's just a matter of time before I find your little friend, and I think she presses her face up against your cube surface, and she says, but I think that's plenty of time to figure out how I'm gonna get my revenge. And her little like wombat teeth can like scrape against your surface, and I think we fade from there to Aurora. Now, Aurora, when you left the bar, you fled out the side entrance. It was still a little bit like there were still people around before people had started to leave and it started getting cleaned up. Where did you go? Where are you running to? You're all alone. Your crew is disappeared. You killed your boyfriend guy some time ago by accident. Where does poor Aurora head to when she's in danger on this deadly world?
The bar.
You're just gonna go back?
Oh, is there another one? There's only one bar?
Oh, like a different bar. Perfect. Great. Okay. So what kind of bar do we find Aurora in? Are you like wasted already, or?
This is like, see, because we're on the Thieves Island and there's all sorts of shady stuff that goes on here, even with all these like troops in here keeping it on lockdown. You got to know where your back alley bars are, where the hidden ones are. You know, the ones that are hidden like under a bunch of brush and you just sweep it aside and knock 3 times and someone peeks through and you say the password type thing. Yeah, you got to know where those are.
Do you feel like this is the kind of thing that Aurora would have any idea where to find?
Oh, she would know.
Help me understand how.
Hard pass. Hard pass. This is Dead Man's Reef. Hard pass.
Dango, obviously. Dango knew because Dango was actually not as innocent.
Okay.
Dango was not as innocent and happy-go-lucky as he appeared.
So here's what we see then, Aurora. Let me set the scene for you. When she's like, it gives me plenty of time to find your friend. We fade over to we hear the sounds of a bar. We hear bar ambient noise, like clinking of glasses and like talking. And we pan up slowly from the floor. So we see this sort of like greasy looking floor, cigarette butts kind of like stuck in it, some shoes like going back and forth. And then across the screen hops this like little white bunny, just bloop, 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 just like hops across the screen. And as we pan up, we see a room full of aliens wearing one of two things, either long tail tuxedos or like sequined gowns, depending, and just irrelevant of like species or sex or gender. Just those are the two outfits that are worn in this place. And as we pan up, we see a sign glowing over the bar that's an overturned top hat with a little bunny's head popping in and out of it. Yes, you've found your way to one of the bars that Dango frequented on this planet, but of course it's a magician's bar. And you're at the entrance. There is a huge 6-armed kind of spider-looking creature, like he's a bouncer at the door, and he's got his arms folded, and we can see Aurora reflected in his compound eyes. And you're wearing your regular outfit. You're wearing your red jacket. You're not dressed for the place. And I think that you're in the middle of trying to perform a magic trick for him because that's how you get in. Right. He's like got all his arms folded. He's like, go ahead, like waiting for you. His little mandibles are like clicking. What is the magic? What is the magic trick that Aurora is attempting to perform?
As I walk up, I try to I was like walking really hurriedly, trying to get there, trying to avoid being spotted by anyone that might go, oh, that obviously is a person that shouldn't be here. And as I walk up, I like quickly like straighten up, and I straighten up my coat, and I walk up, I'm like, oh, hey, Mr. Charlie. Oh my gosh, I really need a drink. I could tell you about my day, but you probably don't even want to hear it. I got dumped recently, and then I came here looking for my pet dog, and he's gone. He just ran off. I mean, he just chased after a ball, but it wasn't a ball. Apparently, did you know that there are aliens out there? They're just balls. They just bounce away. And I'm just like going on and on.
We pan over to a table that's just got like 3 beach balls sitting at it with drinks in front of them. Like they're not moving or talking. There's just 3 fully inflated beach balls just sitting at a table. So we cut back, and Mr. Charlie is like, he shakes his spider head, and he's like, you know the rules, Aurora. And he taps the plaque, and it says on it like strict dress code, and it has a picture of like the sequin gown and the tuxedo, and then it says no tricks, no entry. And he holds out his little hands, furry hands, and he says, look, all we need is a card trick. You pull some scarves out of your sleeves, we'll let you in. But you know how it is. Unless, and he like looks back in the line. He's like, unless you're here with Dango.
Oh, no. See, he broke up with me. We broke it off. I decided I wanted to do my own stuff. That's why I'm here. I'm here to prove that I too am a really good magician. You know, I got a lot of practice back with Dango. And oh, you want me to perform the trick?
He gestures. He's like, please.
And as okay, how hard, this is out of character, how hard would it be for me to do a trick to change my outfit into a sequin dress?
How hard would that be? Impossible.
Mr. Fight anime battle on a ship.
Okay, all right. I'm not gonna say no. This is awesome. So
given that you went into a cloakroom and came out with a boob tube and less clothes, I'd say you have a capacity for
what's
finding
okay?
clothes.
You tell me.
Though where girls do that, where they'll be wearing 5 different dresses, but it looks like they're not.
They just like unfold each other.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use my many years of experience GMing Mage of the Ascension. You tell me how your character does this using the tools she has at her disposal. I will tell you how difficult it is, and then you can roll. So
okay.
What you using what? How do you do this?
She's got that jacket on, you know, and you never know. You never ask a girl what she stores in her jacket ever. That's inappropriate.
That
she
a
could
rule?
be stuffing her. Yeah, it's a rule now.
That's all I ask every day. I'm like, what's in your jacket, girl?
In the world of Nebula chat.
Dude.
Oh, girl, what you got in your jacket?
Now you know.
You never ask a girl what she has in her jacket ever. It's inappropriate, especially a magician. Now, here's the thing. Whenever her jacket's been zipped up the whole time, and she's gonna say, "Okay, I just need you to give me a second. You know, it's getting really stuffy in here." And then she quickly does the jacket and throws it behind her. Anime.
No, Warpla. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Warpla. Anime style, and then that's when like this beautiful like red dress unfolds. It's not sequins and tight fitting, but it's red, and then it falls like down, and there's
like a Cyndi Lauper style like tutu dress. Okay, all right.
Or like just a very airy like mesh dress or whatever.
So what you're proposing here is that it's mundane. You just happen to already be wearing this, and it's like you pull it out like a parachute and just
listen.
Like
I traveled with a magician for 6 months. You never know when you need that.
But where's your flair?
I'll let you make
your magician.
No, but
flair?
as she does it, that's when the doves fly out.
Okay, all right. So let's have you roll. We'll see if you're.
Wait, you also had doves in that jacket?
How long were the doves in there?
Okay, and then the bunny, one of the bunnies that she had, she like can pull it like
One of those murder bunnies?
Cinderella style animal explosion plus like Sailor Moon magical girl transformation. The music changes. We get the pan out. The world around you is all stars and it's spinning. You start to glow. You float up in the air. You're magic and naked, and then all your clothes fly off and magic clothes appear on you. Sure, you're gonna use the techno magical abilities you have at your disposal to attempt to transform your outfit into this very 80s sequin dress that you're looking for.
Very Jessica
okay.
Rabbit.
Cool. This is flashy. This is definitely flashy. I'm gonna say
roll.
let's call it difficulty
7?
I would say 6.
Roll a 7.
Difficulty is 6.
I can't even
It's-
roll a 6.
I believe in you.
Yes, I did it.
You got a 1. Okay.
Can I
Reroll.
roll
Reroll.
start.
6? Because
You can
right now,
You can spend points.
You get 10 points.
oh my god, I'm gonna reroll.
Okay. What aspect are you going to
I'm the Synthomagus.
Right. Okay.
and
So this
This
is your
obviously right up my alley, kind of. Not really.
No, it really isn't.
Yes!
Okay. Slightly
I
better.
Damn it,
So-
not with it at all.
If you have 2 more aspects you can use, then you can do this, or you can fail. That's okay too.
I think you should invoke behind the scenes Eugene, because because you hear Eugene in the back of your head telling you that you're about to fuck up, and then you do it properly.
I could do that.
I mean, if you can justify a conversation, we can
It's
flash.
there. We're never gonna use
So
it.
here's the thing.
like-
How about
Okay,
this?
I
How about
need
this?
to hear the voice. So what would the Eugene
let's-
voice say?
I have an idea for this. So we're floating on the edge of you failing at this trick, right? Like I think we flash back.
It gets stuck. It gets
Yes.
stuck in the clothing, and I'm
we
sitting there like,
flash back briefly right before the break. We flash back to so you're like, okay, I can do this. You take a deep breath. The music changes. We go zoom out. So you start to spin around. Fucking sakura blossoms are flying all over the place.
She's the one named Aurora. Steal.
And then we cut back to you and Dango. And Dango is wearing he's wearing his sexy outfit, which is
oh, yeah.
he's naked except for his little like bow tie and his top hat.
Oh.
He's got the top hat over his crotch right now, so we don't lose our rating. And you're standing in the room, and I think the conversation is like, I need you to do this, Aurora, or I can't, so come on, just do it. You spin around, and you're like, you're dressed in your outfit, and he's tried to teach you this trick where you like spin around and change outfits. And he's tried over and over to teach you this, because he likes it. So we cut back to that, and like maybe we see you start to do it and like mess it up. And then we get a little montage of the two of you fighting, and he's still naked, and he's like, I thought you cared about me, and he storms out of the room, and you're still there. And then we cut to a scene with you and Eugene giving you advice on like what to do. But before we play that scene out, let's take a quick break. let's take 3 minutes. The two of you can figure out what this scene is like, and then we'll see if it helps in this moment of truth, so you can find safety in this magician bar. We'll be back with more RollPlay Nebula Jazz right after this. Don't go anywhere.